Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. How are you?
Evening, Prof.
Yes, Jefferson, Rebecca, Nia,
Good
uh,
evening, Prof.
Mayuting, Lenaka, and Chong Jun. So, how's everybody? Okay. It's been some. It's been quite some time since we last met. Why was it? We didn't have class last week, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Today, I want to cover the topic of marketplace, but you have one quiz. So I need to do a case study today. But since many students are not in yet, so we will go through with our course first, or topic first, and then in the middle, I think we take a break and then we go for a quiz, because there will be a 10% mark for your quiz, which is 2.5% each. So we will have 4. So every alternate, we only have 4 weeks. So every alternate, every day we can do it 4 or it can do it 3. Yeah. Okay. Today we'll cover this topic on marketplace and environment. Actually, this is okay. This part, where is it? Marketplace and environment analysis. Okay. Okay. Sure. We will cover this topic, marketplace and environment analysis. But I think you can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. We'll
Yes.
cover this topic, situation analysis, how you do environmental scanning and so on. But I think before we go to this, I need to cover another topic, which is actually is not. It is in your course of learning outcome, but I need to sort it out so that before you go to this topic, which is short anyway, just a few slides. I will cover the feasibility analysis first. So I'll cover the feasibility analysis first. Yeah. Okay. So instead of going to this, I will start with the feasibility analysis. I'll stop share first. And then only we'll come back to this after we covered this feasibility analysis. We'll talk about feasibility analysis, feasibility and viability. Then we'll come back to this. Yeah. And then because in the feasibility and viability, we'll start about entrepreneurship. We'll go through the detail of entrepreneurship. Share. Because when we put up the CLO, we did not really look into the flow. Yes. So today we'll cover the feasibility and viability of entrepreneurship. We talk about when we talk about entrepreneurship, there I think in the early topics during the first class, we talk about many definitions of entrepreneurship, but we'll take it from a few perspectives, which is from innovation. Yeah. Entrepreneurship is innovation. This is from Joseph Schumpeter, 1934. Joseph Schumpeter. And then from Kersner, Bloom, entrepreneurship is about uncertainty. And then there is one point where which you can differentiate with modern management, normal management. This is by Sarasvati, 2001. So entrepreneurship is about effectuation. Yeah, so entrepreneurship is effectuation. So these are the 3 critical elements which make entrepreneurship this would be distinguished from other normal management, which is innovation, where we will go towards disruptive innovation instead of the normal sustaining innovation. About uncertainty, how do we deal with uncertainty, where in planning, in doing strategic planning, it's not difficult, it's not easy when you don't have uncertainty. And then about effectuation. Effectuation is, there is a video, I think hold on. I'll skip, no, well, we will watch this video. I need to share the sound. The sound. How do we make this big? Okay. Okay, we watch this video, eh?
I presented the entrepreneurial worldview fully born, if you will. But in actual fact, I had to understand that by looking at what entrepreneurs actually do in a micro level, if you will. So in my research, I talked to a whole bunch of you could call them successful entrepreneurs, but success was only a part of their story. I call them expert entrepreneurs. These are people who had several years of founding experience, of multiple firms, often success and failures, and they had learned to perform well over time. So they had taken at least one company public. So of course people see them as successful entrepreneurs. And when you study how they think, and I gave them a 17-page problem set of typical startup decisions that all entrepreneurs have to make in starting a company. So I got to see at the micro level the kinds of things that they do, not just the whole worldview of how they think, but how they implement that worldview in their practical day-to-day business problem solving, if you will. And I found a series of things that they do. And I wrote about five of these, the five principles in my book, but I suspect there are more. And I think as I teach and I look at more histories of entrepreneurs and I talk to them, I think there will be more. So I don't want to talk about this, that there are only five principles, but I can give you some examples. So one of the things I always talk about to my students and is about cooking. Now I say there are at least two ways of cooking. One is to start with a dish that you want to make and where you have a great recipe, you go get the ingredients and then you make the dish. The other way, the way most of us cook, I think, is we stumble into the kitchen, open the refrigerator, and find stuff. And if you come into my house, you'll find, things, brown powders that you might have to smell to know what it is in them because I make Indian food. And so you kind of look at what you have, and then you try to make something with it. The interesting question here is, what difference does it make whether you cook using a recipe and proper ingredients or whether you stumble into the kitchen and cook something? It depends on how good a cook you are, what you end up cooking. So you can't get away from the basic ideas that you need to understand about running a business. So you still need to know how to manage your cash flow and things like that. But when you just stumble into the kitchen and cook, what happens is, assuming you know how to cook and you're a good cook, you're much more likely to come up with a new dish that even you might not have actually planned to make. Whereas if you're cooking from a recipe, it would be, you would get that dish, right? You wouldn't get some new dish. And that's the interesting part of it. So it's not really a question of this is better than that. It is just that the way entrepreneurs do it, they work with what they have. And they look around and say, what can I do with this? And then what else can I do with it? So it goes back to the idea of doing the doable and then pushing it. So they just look around at the resources that are available to them. And by resources, I don't even mean money. A lot of the entrepreneurs I studied start with things like who I am, what I know, and whom I know. So they're looking at what kind of a person am I? What kinds of things turn me on? What kind of things, that I just will not do because it goes against my values. So they have a sense of self. They know what they know, and very often they're very good at knowing what they don't know. So they look at what they know and don't know, and they look at the people that they know, and they start talking to the people almost immediately, and they bring them on board very early on. So they work with what they have to create something new. So that's a technique, and there are lots of techniques connected with that we can learn and teach, and it's very useful in the classroom. The second thing that they're very good at doing is to think through in deciding what to do with what you have. They're not really thinking about where, will I get the biggest bang for the buck? Which one is likely to lead me to the most profit? Instead, they constantly ask themselves, would I do this even if I know I'm going to lose what I'm investing in it? Which is a very different criterion, financially speaking, for example. And I call that the affordable loss criterion. And a great example of that is, there are people who have good jobs, right, pays 100,000, 200,000 a year, who leave and start a company. Now, the standard gut reaction is to say, oh my God, they are, entrepreneurs are risk takers. They are just risk loving. They like jumping off buildings or whatever. But in actual fact, when you look at how a lot of these entrepreneurs make decisions, especially the experienced ones, they're not really saying, you know what, I'm making 200,000 today, but I believe if I do this, I will make 20 million, and therefore, I'm just going to invest everything I have. That's not the way they think about it at all. They think, you know what, this looks like an interesting thing to do. I think I would enjoy doing it. I've always wanted to do this kind of thing. So I think I can put 50,000 into it and 6 months of my life. What's the worst that will happen? Maybe, I have left the job and I'm back on the job market, and maybe I don't make 200,000, I make 150,000. But if I don't do it now, when will I ever do it? I've always wanted to be my own boss, or I've always wanted to build a heart monitor because my dad, died of a heart. Whatever that thing is that is moving them, it comes from who they are and what they know and whom they know. It's very close to what they already have on hand. So that's kind of the second thing. And the third and most important thing is that they work with people. And they work with people in a very interesting way. They don't go and say, here's something I want to build, gadget G, and this gadget G is going to change the world. So who do I need to bring on board? And I go and sell this, and I'm so good at, I'm so charismatic, I'm such a good salesperson, I bring people on board. No, no, no. What they really do is they are very good at getting you to tell them, what would you want to do with Gadget G? They allow you to change their vision of Gadget G if you are willing to put skin in the game. So they build this network of stakeholders who actually put stake in the ground. And each of them, invests only what they can afford to lose. So the affordable loss works with this stakeholder thing in a very interesting way. So what happens is, since each person is putting real skin in the game and they're deciding what to put in based on something they care about so much that they're willing to lose. So the affordable loss does two things. On the one hand, if you fail, it keeps failures really small, something I talked about earlier. But on the other hand, it gives you a different way to evaluate an opportunity, a different way that does not depend entirely only on profits. That you would do this for some reason that you have. Even if you lose the money, you would do it, whatever that motivation may be. It could be something as simple as I can't stand my boss and I just want to. It could be something as simple as that, or it could be very lofty, saying that, I really wanted to help women back home and I want to do this venture because it would help them, and it's okay in the process I try and fail. So the motivation can be anything, but the logic is kind of the same in each case.
Okay, so we talk about, you heard Saraswati, she's talking about, you can read her papers there, you can search for her name, Saraswati, and then his papers are about effectual reasoning. And then the first point that she mentioned is about effectual reasoning, where we have managerial thinking. Managerial thinking is causal reasoning. When you have causal reasoning, you have a target, you have predefined what your target is. A lot of managers do that. They made their goal, they have a different goal, and then they work out their strategies and mission and so on to achieve this goal, the given goal, the goal that you are looking for. But when you talk about, when for entrepreneurs, they are using whatever they have, whatever they have, the resources that they have from their means, that which is within their means, and then they work out to develop solutions from the resources, and then they will have many outputs, possible outputs. If you remember, you can check. There are several products, for example, like we have in the market. For example, like Java. Java programming language was not meant to be a programming language. It ended as a programming language. And then there are, for example, there are many solutions actually meant for a different thing, but eventually it ended as a different thing. Yeah. So that is effectual reasoning, the entrepreneurial thinking. So he imagining a possible new end using what the set of means that we have. Yeah. So in differentiating the causation process and effectuation process, with the causation process, which is the normal management that you learn in schools, where effect has been given. But with entrepreneurship, when we look into effectuation process, entrepreneurship apply effectuation process, we have means and we have tools, and then the effects are not given. So we will reach the effect eventually. This is eventual results. And then decision making in terms of selection criteria, causation process, we have to choose between the means. So what are the means that we have in order to achieve the goal? We find the means. When the goal is have been decided, so we find the means. Whereas in effectuation process, the means we have, so we work out to have the effect. Yeah, so we have to choose between the effects by the given means. We have many means, we have resources, and then from the resources, we will eventually have some effect. And then the selection criteria for decision making is based on expected return. You have your target return. So, but in terms of entrepreneurship, is about affordable loss or acceptable risk. This is where you can risk. And then causation process, it is effect dependent, meaning that it is based on effect dependent, or we call it, or eventually your goal. Yeah, what is your goal? And then you choose the means in order to develop the characteristic in order to achieve what you want. And then you get all your knowledge towards whatever the possible means, strategies, tools, method, and so on, operations, and so on, so that you will achieve your goal. Whereas effectuation process is the other way around. So we have the means. Now, from the means, we look forward so that what we can get out from the means. Yes, what the effect. Yes, May. Any question, May?
Hi, good evening, Prof.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question regarding the first givens, which I think some of the entrepreneurs, they discover some opportunity or some tools. In this case, that, like, for example, they got special deal that they think could make a good money.
Yes.
And but I just thinking, if let's say entrepreneur who have the tool, have the deal, and they went ahead with the venture, but they don't know about how to market it. I think, do we need to there's a lot of factors to consider whether entrepreneurial to be a successful entrepreneur, they should think more than by just looking whether what are the opportunity or what are the tools that they have.
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, you look at whatever surrounds you. You have your network, you have network of friends, you have things that surrounding you. For example, when you talk about entrepreneurial marketing is not the normal marketing that you learn in the marketing course, which is based on place, people. Sometimes these are expensive. So you cannot put promotion in television. You cannot put promotion in newspaper because entrepreneurs cannot afford this. Entrepreneurs, they don't have such big resources like large organizations. They cannot. But we have networks. We have network of friends. We can have. Today we have word of mouth, and then from words of mouth we have today word of mouth. So we use the resources that we have. We have social media today. We have, even if you promote in some Instagram or whatever tools that we have today, it's not as expensive as what they did previously. So entrepreneurs should utilize whatever resources they have. Their network of friends, tools, things that they can do for free, and so on. So that is entrepreneurial thinking. We have your means, and then we work out. Maybe it will reach differently. We will arrive differently. When we look at this, based on this effectuation theory, the imagined ends can be different. Because when you do marketing in a different manner, we may result in a different outcome. So it is not like this. Yeah, so it will arrive different outcomes. Okay, but we are entrepreneurs. We begin with uncertainty, so we do not know where it will end. Actually, we begin with uncertainty. Entrepreneurship is about uncertainty. It is about effectuation, how it will affect. And then we play with innovation. So that is entrepreneurs. It's a good thing. That is a good thing about entrepreneurs. Okay. Did I answer you, May?
Yes. Prof, can you go back to previous slide, because I don't know whether I have the correct interpretation.
Okay.
The comparison in between the effectual and the
Okay, this is the slide, effectuation.
the causal. Is the causal meaning to say that the person actually thinking about they want to address certain problem or situation, and they could actually use different means, different methods to achieve the
Yes,
what they want to
okay.
address.
Well, with causal thinking, managerial thinking, which is the causal thinking, we have determined we have our goal. We have determined our goal. For example, when in large organization, usually this is large organization, we have determined that we want to increase our profit by 5%, for example. Next year, you have to make 5%. Your boss said, the board of directors have determined that you have increased your profit by 5%. Therefore, you have to, because there is an escalating cost, so your revenue need to increase by 15% because there is an escalating cost of 10% and so on. So you work out because you have a goal to achieve, and then we have this means. What is the production you need to make? What is the size of production? And then how many staff do you need to do the process? Maybe you need to have, instead of 2 lines today, we have 3 production lines. Maybe instead of doing 2 shifts, you can have 3 shifts, 24/7. Every day you work, for example. And then the materials, how do you can change your materials and so on. So we have this means to achieve this goal because we have the larger resources. Managerial thinking, usually, of course, most organizations will start up as an entrepreneur, but throughout their lifetime, the business lifetime, they will be stable, and then they have bigger resources, and then they can apply causal thinking. Whereas entrepreneurial thinking, like Saraswati mentioned, it's just you want to cook something, you go to the kitchen, and then you see what you have, and then you make something out of it. So you have your resources within you. You have your friends. You have fun. For example, we have 3F, family. Okay, we have what do you call it? Family, friends, and funders. For example, some people say family, friends, and fools. Where we can get our fun, and then we have what else? Today we have P2P lending, which is part of your. Oh no, this is different topic. Different course. I think to those that attended my fintech, we have this P2P lending and crowdfunding, ECF, equity crowdfunding. We can get fund from there. And then what else? Like you mentioned, marketing. You can market through networks or word of mouth. So based on the given means, you will work out. But the eventual goal we do not know yet, because we deal with uncertainty. But it will eventually reach somewhere. As long as you maintain your costs and so on, you will reach somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Is it clearer now, May?
Yeah. Prof, I just want to share, right, during MCO, actually, I was having an idea to start ready to cook pack food out of nowhere, and I venture into it, and that is the mean that I have at that moment. But as I start and go through the journey, I lost because I don't know why I'm doing and what problem that I solve. So I was just give me the realization or some some reflection is that I should think of what actually I want to help before actually start anything that what I can see or what is with me at that moment.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the reflection that I have.
Okay, sometimes we don't have to go for solving big problem, May. So this is my experience. Sometimes we don't have to go for solving big problems as long as there is demand for a product.
Mm.
As long as there is people who want to pay for our product, and then when you work out our costing, we can make some margin out of it. So as long as there is demand for the product, and then there will be, when you talk about business model, even somebody else want to pay for it, not the customer, but there are some people who want to willing to pay for it. Then you can still make, you will be still be successful.
Okay.
Okay, so we will move so and then in terms of competencies, or we go back to this line, competencies. When we have uh, in causation process, we need to be excellent in exploiting knowledge, so that we have people with specific skills, and then they have this knowledge, they have competencies, so we employ people. But with effectuation process, we can exploit contingencies. For example, we have friends who will know somebody. We have friends can promote. We can use tools like, for example, May mentioned, in terms of marketing, we can use social media tools. We can have WhatsApp tools. Yeah, so we can exploit contingencies. And then in terms of relevant, it is more. It is ubiquitous in terms of human action. We build network, then we have more ubiquitous human action rather than nature. And then our explicit assumptions are very dynamic, non-linear, and ecological friendly, because we deal with the relationship that we have surrounding us. We deal with whatever we have within us, because everybody, actually, a human being, actually, we have assets surrounding us. It can be tangible, it can be intangible. We have friends, we have family, we have knowledge, we have skills, certain whatever small skill that we have, we can make use of it. So it is not static, linear, or independent. And then we have unpredictable future. That's why it is called effectuation. The effect will come into place, and then the underlying logic is we can control the future. But we do not need to predict the future. Yeah, so it eventually will come. So new markets can be created through alliance and cooperative agencies. Yeah, so this is cooperative strategies. This is the difference between causation and effectuation theory. Okay, for those who want to do research, maybe later on, some of you might do. We can do effectuation theory and compare about causation theory. Causation theory is a normal management theory that you learn throughout your MBA program. Effectuation theory comes in entrepreneurship. Yeah. So okay, that is in terms of viability, and then we have viability in terms of business model canvas. This is business model canvas. The earlier topic, first topic, I think I covered the business model canvas. We have this desirability and feasibility and viability. Viability is sanity check, so that we must make sure that our cost is lower than our revenue. Desirability is what do the customers want our product? What are the customers, what are the customer relationship, what are the channel that we deal with the customer, what is the value that we provide to the customers. Always in delivering businesses or entrepreneurship, we are delivering values. What value are we proposing to the customers? And then in terms of feasibility, whether we can build it, we look into the key partners, what resources we have. Maybe we can use our network of friends to market, word of mouth to market products, the key activities that we do, and then the key resources that we have. Yeah, this is viability. And then now we move into the feasibility and viability in the BMC. Okay, this is what I mentioned to you. We look into the feasibility. Desirability is what the customers value. Viability is the financial assumption. And then adaptability, where we have, we can choose the right business model in context with the external factors like competition, technology change. The business models, we have covered the earlier part, where you can have your center point, where you can begin with the customers. So if you have, like May mentioned, you have deals, you have relationship, or suppliers, or you have a contract with certain party that you can develop from key partners, and then you can move into promoting the product and so on. So you will develop business model based on that. Yeah. Okay, that is feasibility analysis. And And then feasibility analysis is the process where you, okay, now we have covered this, the early part of entrepreneurship. Now we move into feasibility analysis. So any question on feasibility analysis on the early part? Any questions so far? So we'll move into feasibility analysis. Feasibility analysis is to determine whether your idea is viable or not. When you want to venture into a business, you need to look into whether your idea is worth pursuing. It is different. For example, like my friend mentioned to me, some ideas that is relevant to some country might not relevant to Malaysia, or things which is relevant in Malaysia might not be relevant to another country. So, for example, like there are people in Indonesia, they are selling, I'm not sure whether there are people in Indonesia here or not, but there was an idea mooted to sell phone charging facility. So you go to the head of the village. The head of village have electricity, and then they have this phone charging, so they can come and pay a certain amount of fee to charge their phones. So it is visible there, but whether it is visible in Malaysia. Then they have Gojek, for example, which is people can ride, same like our Grab, can ride a bike and then travel to certain distances in certain location in Indonesia, riding on a bike. But whether it is feasible in Malaysia, because situations are different. We have, so we need to look into this feasibility analysis. So the timing of you need to do your feasibility analysis will be before you spend a lot of resources. You need to do this feasibility analysis. So there are certain components you need to look at when you do the feasibility analysis. Based on the book that I use, actually, this is by Behringer. There are 4 types of feasibility that you need to look at. One is product service feasibility, whether your product is feasible. Number 2, whether your industry or the target market is feasible, your specific target market. So whether it is feasible in that target market. And then whether the organization is feasible, you have the right organization, or financial is feasible. If you have yes in all of the areas, proceed with the plan. If you have no in any one of the areas, you need to rethink the business idea. Maybe you can change your business plan, business model. Yeah. So we'll start one by one on terms of the product feasibility. We'll start with product feasibility. This is product feasibility. We have desirability and demand. Yeah, product service desirability and product service demand. In terms of industrial target market feasibility, we have industry attractiveness and target market attractiveness. In terms of organizational feasibility, we have management prowess, the skill of the management, and then whether you have resource sufficiency. Financial feasibility, you need to look into your startup cash needed, financial performance, and financial attractiveness, and you have an overall assessment. We start with product service feasibility. The purpose is to assess the overall appeal of the product or the service we proposed, and then before a prospective firm, before you want to rush into a new product, you need to know what the prospective customers want, whether there is demand. For example, like May mentioned just now, you don't have to really have solving a problem as long as there is people who wants to buy your product. There is people who need your product, because you may not see. We see from our perspective. When we see from our perspective, we do not see from the other perspective. But if there is demand for our product, meaning from their perspective, it is solving certain problem. At times, this is my experience. Yeah, at times, if you look at surrounding you, most of the time, the products that are being sold in the market, the new product, especially this disruptive solution, disruptive innovation, are not solving problem. They're not solving problem. Do we have a problem when we were using Nokia phone? Do we have problem? So what are they solving? Yes, Jefferson.
Just access, I think, or status.
Yeah, what are they solving? Because it's not problem solving. A lot of if you can read through, you can read the book by Christensen, Clayton Christensen, the book titled Innovators Dilemma. It is not about solving problem. Most of the time, entrepreneurs come up with a new opportunity and then they sell their opportunity. They sell the opportunity. It's not problem solving. When digital camera came, do we have problem with the film camera? And then when we have, of course, today we have electrical vehicle. Maybe electrical vehicle will come and replace, but the technology have been improving. For example, this combustion engine have been improving from 4 valves to 8 valves, from 8 valve move to 12 valve, 12 valve move to 16 valve, 16 valve and move to 24 valve, and then they upgrade their solution and so on. But so they are solving the problem. So when you keep on solving problem, it is about sustaining innovation. Sustaining innovation will be solving problem. But disruptive innovation is not solving problem. They come in from a different perspective, from a different angle, and then they take over the market. Actually, most of the time, disruptive solutions are, what do you call it, substitute products. They are substitute products. They are not the products that meant to solve the problem. They are a substitute product. Yeah, maybe with the increase of rice, for example, people will start eating something else. So it is a substitute. It's not solving a product. So this is product feasibility. The main thing is whether your product are desired. There is desirability for your product. Yeah, so if there is desirable product, you don't really look for problem solving. There is desire, and then there is demand for the product. People are willing to pay for it. Yeah. First, ask the question whether what is about the basic of the product. Does it make sense? Is it reasonable? Is it something that consumers will be excited about when the iPhone came into the into the picture? We can just swipe, and then we just can touch, and then we have a lot of apps. So it makes sense. This is taking advantage of the environmental trend, but it doesn't really solve a problem, but take advantage of a gap in the marketplace because we don't have smartphone back then. It is a good time to introduce the product because people are getting trendy with the Nokia communicators and so on. And then is there a fatal flaw in the product? Yes, it does. You need it consume a lot of, compared to Nokia. I remember I used the first, I bought the iPhone 3G, iPhone 3G. The battery power doesn't last long compared to the Nokia. You keep on charging the battery, and then you cannot take out the battery. Unlike the previous phone, you can take out the battery while charging the battery. You put another battery and you place it. Remember? You can, while you are using the battery, you can be charging another battery. But then, and then the first iPhone came in without the battery problem. And then later on, Samsung have this, try to solve this battery, and then they have problem with the airline. It's explode in the, remember there is one Samsung which is not allowed to be carried in the aircraft.
I have a question here.
Yes.
During this time, actually, was a lot of competitions. Not only Nokia, it was Samsung, starting from Samsung, BlackBerry, iPhone in the same time. So it actually was a huge competition. It was not easy to handle everything. After this, I think we didn't hear anything about Nokia for some times, because of the problems, and the situation of the companies was really bad. The employee was shifting from Nokia to Apple and Samsung company. So is there is one of the things that we can say the competition is affect the company?
I'm not sure about that because yes, there is a problem in terms of Nokia. But Nokia, if you look into their growth, it has been growing, growing, growing. The sudden drop is when Apple come into the picture, because Apple is actually iPhone is not a phone. iPhone is a computer. That's why it is a substitute. It is a computer. It is a miniaturized computer. So how can a phone compete with a computer?
Yes, it's really hard. Yes. It's
And that,
different things. Yes.
this is a different thing. Remember,
Organization, yeah.
anybody still remember? I remember. Maybe not you, or most of you are very young. Do you have heard of word processor?
Yes, 486.
Yes, yes, yes.
Word processor? No, word processor. Wang word processor. Anybody have seen a Wang or some word processor?
486.
486 is still a computer.
The
Before
Lotus
486.
Lotus 123 again.
No, that is still a computer. Everybody have internet, right? You type word processor, you type Wang, W-A-N-G. Let's see. Did anybody have seen? It is a popular brand back then. Wang, W-A-N-G, word processor.
Okay, nah, never use this one. No.
Never use that one. I use it during my when I was started working. It is a that is a word processor. What you are using today is a word processor software. Word processor software is a solution being designed in form of a software. It imitates the word processor capabilities. All the capabilities of the word processor imitate all the capability, but it is a software put into the phone. It put into the computer. So, and then word processor close shop. There is no more processor because that is what we talk about: disruptive solution, disruptive innovation. You come in and you replace. Now not many people use facsimile anymore, right? Anybody still use facsimile? If you ask your kids, you buy a facsimile machine today, you cannot even get a facsimile machine today. Can you still buy a facsimile machine? No. Okay, this is something but activities. There is another activities that this is activities for next class. So we will skip this. We have an activity that have been put up in your quiz. Let's look into the activity because earlier I want to start the activity first, but many students have not joined in. So we'll stop this first. We'll look into the activity. The activity is actually in the previous notes, which is on the infrastructure. Open up the infrastructure. It is at the end of the previous notes. Hold on. Okay, I need to break you into groups. Just make it a short while so we can come back quickly. There is the previous note. Okay. Okay. You can I break you into how many of you today? I'll break you into certain groups. So this is the question. The question is already in your, actually this is in the previous slide, at the last slide. Yeah, and then, but it is also in your case study. There is case study 2. Quiz case study 2. So you look into pick just one industry: banking, telecommunication, supermarket, hotel, travel. This is the topic on infrastructure. The infrastructure that we're looking today is on the internet. The internet has changed the competitive forces of the industries today. So whether it has increased or decreased power of suppliers and customers. Remember, internet has reduced the information asymmetry. We'll discuss about information asymmetry later, but you can just type information asymmetry. You can search what is information asymmetry. It reduces information asymmetry. I'm excuse my spelling, information asymmetry. Okay, so there is relationship between customers and suppliers always about information asymmetry because internet provide information to both of them, both groups. Okay, now is I'll stop share. I will, you can have this in those slides. We have 20 people today, minus me 19. Can I break into just 4 groups? Yeah, I break into 4 groups. And then today, now it's 8:44. We'll just do 20 minutes. Okay. Yeah, just 20 minutes. We'll come back at 9:05. Yeah, come back at 9:05. So we have some time to cover the rest of the topic. Okay, and then we'll share. Okay, I'll break out rooms. I'll break into 4 groups. Just join your groups and then discuss about 20 minutes and then come back later after at 9:05. Can you please join room 4, and then you?
Yes.
Or you are, can you join the room?
Yeah, I'll join, but I have a question.
Yes.
The case study quiz is on the LNS, alright?
Yes, LMS at the quiz, at the assignment.
Okay.
Quiz number 2.
Alright, can.
Okay. Okay, everyone is back. Okay. Okay, I think almost everyone is back except for Linda and except for Fadila is back. And okay, everyone is back now. Okay, who want to share? Which group want to share their points first in terms of the competencies brought by the internet to just any one of these industry mentioned listed there?
I can start, Prof.
Yes.
Group number 3.
Please.
We are discussing about the supermarket thing, almost all the things, but we are concentrating on the supermarkets industrial. It's starting from the increase the customer power that the internet allows the customer to easily compare the price and the product across the various of supermarket. Also, this has increased the power of the customers as they can quickly identify the best deals, increasing the customer power of supermarket. Also, often source the product from the supplier online, which can increase efficiency of their supply chains. They have more power if they provide an unique or in demand of the products. Also, they have good data analysis of the customers, what the customer need, what they like. Regarding the competition, also the internet has made it easier for the small supermarkets of the supplier to reach a wider of the customer base through the online of the market or the own websites, reducing the domains of the large of the suppliers.
Okay, very good. Ms. Sondos Zayan. Okay, another group. Which group want to? Next
Hello.
group? Yes, please, Intan.
Hello,
Intan's happening.
from group one.
One.
So
Yes.
in our group, which are Jefferson, Shaki, Safi, and Linaka. So
Mhm.
we choose hotel industry. In terms of supplier, which is we choose the travel agent, will increase as they serve as a landing point for customer to find the hotel. And then assistant also we have to enhance the visibility of the hotel. And then we can see now we have like many apps to find hotel like Booking app, Agoda, even the airlines also has their own apps to choose which hotel or which accommodation that we want. And then in terms of customer, of course the power will increase as they can easily switch based on their based on the price, the location that suits them. And then the apps of course have the review listing, right? And then the star, so the customer definitely we have the power to choose based on the star rating, based on the review.
Okay, very
Then
good.
they can easily evaluate the hotel that they prefer.
Okay, very good, Intan. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Intan. Okay, next group. There was group one, group.
For
Yes,
group
yeah,
4, we
group 4,
also
yeah.
chose hotel industry.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna, okay, first of all, it will increase the customer power whereby transparency helps the customer to read through all the information from the hotel, the pricing, and then they can make comparison before purchasing. Not only that, for supplier, which is the hotel, they also gain some insight from the technology advancement, whereby in data analytics, the internet has enabled hotel to gather and analyze data on customer preferences, booking patterns, and occupancy rates. So from there, they can manage their hotel better for the customer.
Okay, very good. Next group, which is group 2, I think.
Yeah, I think I will speak on behalf.
Okay.
So we are choosing a supermarket for this case study. So I will just categorize into power of customers and also power of suppliers. So for power of customers, they actually internet actually increase the bargaining power. So the customer have a greater ability to negotiate for the better price and terms due to the ease of comparing the prices. and offers online. Customer also have more choices because of internet, so they can able to access to a wide range of products and brands online. So they are more easily to access the detailed product informations, reviews, and also the feedbacks, and also of course the nutritional facts online. So for power of suppliers, they actually improve their supply chain efficiency. So they can help the supermarket to optimize the supply chains, reduce the risk of stockouts, and also ensure inventory management. And also they can give the pressure for competitive pricing. So the transparency on internet actually help us to easily understand like what our competitors offering. So based on that, they actually give the pressure to the supermarket itself. Also, the suppliers can have the opportunity to partner with the e-commerce, like let's say Shopee or Grab or Lazada and something like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Very good. Okay, just one asking, do you need a break?
Yes.
Okay, okay, we'll take a break. 15 minutes enough? 10 minutes? 10 minutes or 15 minutes?
50.
Okay, take a break of 15 minutes. Come back at 9:30. Oh, 9:30. This is 9:12. Come back at 9:30. Okay.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay. Okay, can we start? We have half an hour to cover whatever we can. Then we will continue next week. Okay, this we ended here. So whether the product on product service desirability. So this is some questions, activities. You can do it on your own, but I'll give you the link. Maybe we can do it next week on whether how do we look at certain products, whether it makes sense, whether it is reasonable, and so on. Then the next step on product desirability is to administer concept test. The concept test should be developed. How do we develop? We develop a concept statement, one-page description of the product, and distribute to some people, and then to obtain their feedback. So from this feedback, we will hope to receive some viability or suggestion how the product could be improved or tweaked before we move further. This is an example of new venture fitness drink concept statement about the product, the target market, why the product, and so on. And then next, after product desirability, we look into the product service demand. So we talk to potential customers face-to-face, or we can also use online tools. There are a lot of surveys that we can use today. Survey, Google, in Monkey Survey, and so on. Or we can also use library, internet, and Gumshoe search. So first step is to look into face-to-face with potential customer. So the only way we can know about the product is to talk to people who might want them. The idea is to gauge the customer reaction whether on the general concept that you want to sell, tweak and revise and improve the product. So you can, it will cause an, so in some cases, talking with potential customer may cause the entrepreneurs to abandon the idea before you start actually marketing the product. Or you can also use online tools to get, to gauge customer reaction with the, so you can include administering survey, query. You can also use Google Trends. Maybe you just type Google Trend, you can see the demand of certain products. Yeah, maybe later if we have time, we'll just play with Google Trend. Just type Google Trend, and then you can type any product, and then you can see the demand of the product. Or you can purchase Google AdWords to direct users to certain landing pages to obtain more information. Can use surveys and Q&A sites, SurveyMonkey. Or you can also Q&A sites like Quora, Right Journey, so that you can have access the product demand. Can use Google Trend. Yeah, just now Google Trend, you can type Google Trend. Anybody have ever used Google Trend? Anybody who have ever used Google Trend? May, have you ever used Google Trend, May, in marketing your product?
Yeah, last time I did use this tool to search. Yeah, I just put a keyword and then see how many people search that word in a period of time. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay, that is another one method, yeah, how you can use understand the demand or on a certain product. How actually Google Trend is searching how many people search for this the keyword. Okay, you can also use Google AdWords coupled with your landing page. You can buy TextX from the search engine, and then you can look into when people search a product and then link to the idea, it will come up with this text ad. Another one is to assess using library, internet, and Gumshoe research. Library search is you look into the archival data. So you type search the content in the internet, and then you look into the demand of certain products. You look from trade association, industry experts, what do they say about the certain products? Yeah, from library search or internet search, you use certain general internet search or specific certain specific search in certain groups. Yeah. Or Gumshoe is actually it's about asking people, yeah, and then get details of the certain product, get their idea of the certain products that you want to sell. So this is product service demand. Next is on terms of industry target market feasibility. It's assessing the overall appeal of the industry. You don't want to sell products to a sunset industry, and then where people are not going to the market to that industry anymore. And then you need to understand the size. You need to know the size of your target market. And then an industry seems as a group of it's deemed as a group of firms that produce similar products or service. So you need to look at the market size of the industry. Then the components of industry target market feasibility will be the industry attractiveness, whether the industry is attractive, and the target market attractiveness. One is the industry, and then your target market within that industry. So industry and attractiveness vary in terms of their overall attractiveness. In general, the most attractive is depicted in this next slide. You look into whether the industry is young rather than old, a new technology, new trends, and then whether it is early or late in their life cycle, because product have life cycle, whether it is fragmented or concentrated, whether the industry is a growing industry or a shrinking industry, whether the product and service that you're selling is a must-have or want to have, need or wants, and then whether the industry is too crowded or not, the industry is overcrowded, and then whether the industry is operating with a high margin or a low operating margin. Then some industry is very low operating margin, and then it is whether it is highly dependent on the historical low price of key raw material like gasoline or flour, which is dependent on certain raw material. So this is the industry attractiveness. Then you look into the target market attractiveness. To identify the attractive target market, you need to see that the market is large enough, and then so that large enough for the proposed business, and then yet not too small, not small enough to avoid attracting larger competitors. And then this is tougher compared to looking at the attractiveness of the entire industry, because you're looking just as your target market. Then you look into organizational feasibility analysis, is to conduct whether your proposed business has sufficient management prowess, we call it management prowess, management expertise, organizational competence, resources to launch the business. So this part, we are looking at the non-financial resources. We have non-financial resources. We have both financial resources. Financial resources we'll cover later. This is looking at non-financial resources. One of it is the management prowess, the capability of the management, and then whether you have resource sufficiency. Management team need to have passion and expertise to launch the venture. So whether they have the understand the market and then the passion in doing in running the business, yeah. And then in terms of resources, whether have sufficient resources to launch the proposed venture. Yeah, so it's about skill, capability. So it's not about non-financial factors. Resource sufficiency, we look into office space. Whether today maybe you don't need an office space, as long as you have an internet, you have access to internet, you can have a domain name, lab space, availability of contract manufacturers, key management employees, key support personnel, intellectual property protection, favorable business partnership. For this course, we look into digital entrepreneurship. When you talk about digital entrepreneurship, most probably you might not need a physical space, or may not have a physical space. But when you are using the internet, there are some things that you need to know. I'll stop this first. Just use. There are things that you need to look at. One is your domain name. The other one is your store, what do you call it? Your hosting space. Your hosting, your web hosting. Okay, anybody familiar with domain names or web hosting here? Anybody have done?
A little bit, Prof.
Yes. What you have a website?
I used to have, yes.
Okay, how much do you spend on your hosting and domain?
I used to have my own shared hosting, which cost me
Okay.
about 500 a year. But nowadays, there's no such thing as shared hosting. It's all on cloud. So cloud
Okay.
would charge you based on usage mainly, but it
Okay.
start with $30 per month for very minimal usage.
Yes.
Bandwidth, yeah.
Okay. So you do you still use the cloud? Which cloud are you using?
From IP server one.
IP server one. Okay.
Yes, one of the local providers lah.
One of the local provider.
Yep.
Did you buy your own domain name?
I do. I buy my own domain. It used to be from name.com. That would cost me about $50. But I figure out buying from Google directly is actually a lot cheaper.
Okay. You bought from Google. Oh, before this, you bought from where?
Name.com. So that is
Name.
for .com
Okay.
yes.
Okay, name.com. Okay. You can buy domain name. There are several internet, we call it ISP, web service provider. So that sells, we call it, this is the registrar that sell domain names. As low as, do you know that you can buy, do you buy in 50 ringgit or $50, yeah?
For .com domain it's very cheap. It's 50 ringgit. But for if you want to go for .com.my or .my, it's expensive lah.
Okay. Okay, actually you can buy a .com as low as, let me see, yeah. Let me show you. Okay. Okay, this is some price that this is the amount that this is thing. I'll share you the screen. Yeah? Hold on. This is a domain. This is Webnik. Webnik provide a certain product. So you can buy a domain name. So this is the dashboard. This is the dashboard. You can try say domain name. Okay, Akimi, just give you a domain name. I think your domain name has been sold, right? You still have the domain name?
Yes, I do. I still own it, which is my name, hakimiashraf.com.
HAKIMI. Continue.
Yes, continue. ASYRAF.
RAF.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been not updating that since very long.
Okay, well, we cannot transfer, but you can use this Webnik. For those who want to buy domain, you can just use this domain. Let me see. Who is? Have you tried doing who is?
Well, you can see who owns it lah. And where is it registered? And the DNS and all that.
Yeah. So if you use this, you can get who is. This is the expire on 12/2/24. So
Yeah.
this in IP server 1. Yeah. So
Okay.
your name is Muhammad Hakimi Ashraf.
I know. Thank you so much for the public info.
Yeah. This is already public info.
Yeah.
This is already public info. Actually, when you register, that's why what you need to do, you need to do like I did.
The protection thing would cost me extra.
No, not expensive. So you don't see my name.
Yep. I have another domain that actually I bought the protection lah. Because this
Okay.
one I bought from Google. It's ykimi.com.
Okay, so this is another domain, and then this is the DNS record. Yeah, you can get the DNS record. You use your own DNS, or you. Okay, we can buy, for example, this is as low as $8. Yeah, $8. You just type any domain, you can see that the price is about $8 for a domain name. Yeah, so you want to buy a domain name, you can get as low as $8. This is webnik. So, for example, say maybe if you get any domain, if you type any domain, say, yeah, so maybe Jefferson or me or Nia, yes, want to buy your domain, you can just, but with .my is expensive because .my, why is .my expensive, Hakimi?
I have no idea, but I figured my INC want to make some profit lah.
Okay, because it is in Malaysia, it is managed by the Ministry of Science. So whereas this is when you .com, it is in US. Yeah. Okay. No, I need to stop sharing this. Okay. And then that is the domain name that you need to buy. Buy is about ringgit, $8. About $8. $8 today is expensive, but $8 back then was not that expensive. Yeah, $8. About $8 you can get a domain name, and then this domain name, if you will need to have in order to have to build up a website, you besides the domain name, what else do you need? Anyone else? Okay, Hakimi. Beside the domain name, what else do you need?
Beside the domain name,
Hmm.
well, domain name is a top level domain.
Okay.
Then you need the hosting.
You will need the hosting, and beside that,
can't recall.
okay.
Server lah.
Besides,
Yeah, server
besides
is
that,
hosting.
okay. Besides that, you need a DNS server.
Oh
Yeah?
yes.
Okay, you need a DNS server. Okay, domain name, you need the DNS server. You can subscribe to a DNS server at somewhere else, DNS easy or any it will cost you maybe about $10. If you're not sure what the price is, or you can subscribe. Or the hosting companies can also offer you a DNS server. You can use their DNS server. Okay, so that is the amount that you need, about 10, and then we have 30. There are also, for example, providers that provide, you can have a server at about, I think, a good server. You can have a virtual private server instead of going to cloud. You can also have a virtual private server of about 1,000 or 2,000 VPS, virtual private server in local. So that is the amount of money that you will need instead of face to face. Yeah. Okay. I think we are 9:48 now. I'll just open up for quick Q&A. Anybody want to ask any question pertaining to today's class? Because next week we will continue on. Next week we will continue on the resource efficiency, continue on the financial feasibility. Next week we'll move into financial feasibility. So we'll concentrate on financial next week. So today we have covered a lot, except on the feasibility. We have covered the product service feasibility. We have covered the industry target market feasibility, and we have done organizational feasibility. Left is the product and the financial feasibility. So any question?
Prof, I have a question, but
Yes.
it's regarding the group assignment.
Yes.
Okay, so there's one question that you mentioned that we need to do a business model which comprises of few
The
elements,
9.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
9
9 elements.
Mm.
Yeah, the 9 components. So, and then right after that, you mentioned that the digital business strategy of your venture, elaborating the pattern and direction of your business model. So, so do we actually explain that 9 components, or we just fill in the table based on the 9 components, and then
And then you need to explain. You need to explain a little
so
bit.
we explain using the
Brief.
9 components.
Yes, brief, but not to be detailed, but briefly.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Any other question?
Prof, I have a question regarding the quiz today. So I saw that we need to upload
Yes.
in the LMS.
Okay. I am finding the means. I'm how to prepare the place for you to upload. So you can keep it first, but you need to upload before the last class. But I need to sort out with Mr. Ridwan. How do I put it? Because there is I have difficulty of putting a place for you to upload.
Okay.
Actually, Prof, for the quiz 2 that we had just now for the group discussion, I think it's on LMS so that we can upload the assignment. But
yes,
the quiz that we had last time, quiz 1, is actually blank. So that one is the one that we cannot submit for quiz 1.
Okay, this one is on LMS, right? The other one also should be an LMS. I'll put it up because okay, because even earlier there we have a problem of putting up the due date, but the technical part, the developer of the system will put up the date, even for this class, even for the previous assignment, previous quiz, the same thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof.
But in case you are stuck, you can always email to me. I will handle it manually. Okay.
For the quiz, do we need to do for each industries or just for the one industry that we discussed?
Just one industry.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, Jason Lam. No question?
No question, Prof.
Okay, Jefferson.
No, nothing from me now.
Okay, Ivan.
None from me.
Okay. Tan Xiaomi. May. Any question, May?
Yeah. No, thank you.
Okay. Megan. Rebecca.
No, Prof. That's all.
Okay. Lenaka, any question?
No, Prof.
Yeah, Safi.
No, Prof.
Okay. Hakimi.
Not for now, Prof. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, by the way, Hakimi, what do you use your domain for actually?
Well, I bought it back in studying years. Is like to build my own portfolio other than, those days LinkedIn are not very famous. So if you want to find job, you can put it in your resume so you can know a little bit more technical stuff on this. But I never actually utilize it for that. And I just keep renewing it until now. So it's like almost 12, 13 years now.
Okay, very good. Actually,
just buy and pay.
Just to tell you, I'm a domain reseller.
Oh gosh, I mean, so you basically buy and flip your domain name to higher price.
No, I don't buy the domain. I am a reseller registered with the registrar.
Oh, registered reseller, so people can actually buy through you.
Yes, can buy through me. That's why when
For
you say
.my?
.my and as well as .my as well as .com or any dot. Any dot.
Oh, any dot. Okay.
Any dot.
Okay.
Okay. That is my business. Okay.
Well, what was your business website so that people actually can go in and purchase?
Okay, actually, I used to have this domain hashtag, but it's actually now dormant when I enter academic. But I still resell. I have some portals that running, but I think I should not put it. Should not be mentioning it here. It is recorded.
Okay, okay, Prof. Got it.
Okay. Any other question? Safi, Shakir, Mahyuting.
No, Prof.
Okay, I think if there is nothing, we can adjourn today until we meet again next week on Tuesday. Okay, thank you very much.
Prof.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
Prof.
everyone.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Good night.
Right.